Welcome to Sister Strong, a podcast and video series about possibility. I'm your host, Betsy Wiersma. This podcast and video series is our way to share ideas and insights and experiences as we all stand together for health and happiness. These are things for your toolkit, so try them on and see how they work for you. Today, sharing her amazing knowledge, her coaching experience, her leadership in the plumbing industry, her leadership as a global international speaker, is the amazing Susan Frew.
Hey, Betsy, how are you?
And the crowd goes wild. Oh,
yes.
Well, we are so happy to have you on the show today. You have been a long time partner and sponsor of the CampExperience Network, standing for doing good and having fun. You're a philanthropist, you're an international speaker, and we just today really want to hear from you about what you've learned along your journey as a coach about adversity in businesses, not only surviving but thriving. So start by telling everybody a little bit about you and your background.
Well, I was an international general manager with AT&T Wireless. I had a lot of jobs with them, but that's how I ended my corporate career. And then I bought in 2007 a business coaching franchise. And through that time, I coached 150 different businesses. But if the timeline's starting to make sense there a little bit, it was right through the recession. So I coached 17 different trades, and I had group coaching, one-on-one coaching, quarterly planning sessions, monthly events that we would have people together. So we were helping people to get through, once again, an unprecedented time, just like we're going through now. So I ended up learning a lot of tricks to help people get through what they need to get through.
Well, see, and it's funny, for such a time as this, right? So it's very interesting to me, and I was just stating this the other day, that everything, even though it's different and it's a time that's very, very unique for all of us, there are some things in place for us. We have survived recession before. We have not survived this kind of global virus thing. However, there has been times we've all had to come together to help each other. So thank you for being so willing today to share some of your knowledge. So, and I want to also point out for people that don't know you, that you are a business owner yourself. Tell them a little bit about Sunshine.
Well, I own Sunshine Plumbing, Heating, Air. We're a multi-million-dollar plumbing, heating, and air conditioning company. We are known for our rapid growth and really high-touch customer service. Something else that's I've been speaking about publicly for the last 6 or 8 months is that our company survived a bad employee hire and a subsequent embezzlement, which we had to make some radical adjustments in our company in order to survive that. And I believe that my work with all of those businesses during the recession prepared me for having to go through this problem in my own company. And now it's just really on my heart to share this knowledge that I have on getting through the soup with other business owners, because I know everyone is really scared and they don't know what's going to happen. And, it is very, very uncertain. And that's the worst kind of feeling, is uncertainty, right? You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And we went from riding this big high of this great economy to what the heck's happening right now. And that's really almost what happened back then in 2008 and 2009. It was like overnight, everything just tanked and it was shut off. So I just want to be able to share with people some ideas that will help them get to the other side. And you will get to the other side. Believe me and trust me, you will.
Okay, well, let's start with that. So, let's put the underpinnings, the foundation of this conversation as first believing you will get to the other side, right? I always say there's nowhere to go but through. So we're going to just put that there as an underpinning. So let's start with, as some people are feeling, skittish is a good word for how I describe my husband. His industry has been stopped. He is in the gathering business, as you know, and special events. So as your business is changing, let's try to focus on about 3 things we can tell people. So what would be the first thing you might want to talk about?
One is negotiate everything. So if you're worried because you have an automobile payment, you have rent, you have maybe an SBA loan, whatever it is, everything is negotiable right now. So you need to get online to all of your lenders and vendors and see what they are offering to help the community get through this and help you get through this. They want you to get through, right? Because if you go down, they're never going to get their money. Please keep that in mind, because they're going to make you feel bad. They're going to make you feel ashamed that you can't make your payment or whatever. You know what? It's all just business. They want to get paid, and you can't pay them right now, maybe, right? Or you need 90 days to kind of regroup. And we all think it's 90 days. It could even be longer, that we don't know. But for now, anywhere that you have a loan or an automobile loan or a lease, call those people first. Reach out and ask them for a 90 or 120-day deferment. And you will be surprised on how many people are going to just say, okay. I did it with all of our truck loans the other day. Click, 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 click. I didn't even have to call. And now I don't have any truck payments until the 17th of July.
Well, see, okay. And I think people, that's a super great tip, right? That everybody wants. And what I loved that what you said is, everybody wants all of us to succeed. It doesn't help for people to go out of business. The world needs all the businesses we have. That's why the unemployment rate was so low. So I see this, unfortunately, as a temporary, really tough and big space. But luckily, we're going to prepare for the bright future on the other side when we do get past this. So number one, everything's negotiable. Awesome tip. Okay, what's tip number two?
Tip number two is that you need to be mindful of your sales strategy right now, right? Everyone is going through a really tough time. So whatever you are selling, I really would suggest that you make it more friendly, helpful, checking in with people. How are they doing? I mean, our phone has been blowing up here at Sunshine with salespeople. And I get it. I know that salespeople are nervous too. They have mortgages to pay. Maybe some of them were on straight commission. But we as business owners are finding that really offensive. I think that this new week now, after we got through the first week of shock, I think now it's probably a little bit better. It's opening up. But just try and be as kind and gentle as you can with folks on that.
Well, and I would call it I agree. I think this is a time to serve, not sell. And, I like that kind of selling anyway. I always say I don't sell anything. I match to somebody's needs. That's just always been my thing. Because if I sell, it's just not my gig. I don't want to shit on somebody. I don't want to, trap them into a funnel. Yeah. So my thing is to attract clients and people that are the right people that I can really provide the right service. So I think that's a super good tip right now is serve your clients, check in with your clients, and be sensitive to life outside of your particular circumstance of wanting to sell a product or a service and build for that future. So super good tip. What would be tip number three? This is so much fun. You're awesome.
I might have to add a 4 because there's a 4.
Okay, you can have 4.
I might have to.
Only you get to have 4. So what's number 3?
3 is this over communicate. And that goes with your vendors, and that goes with your employees. So when we were really in the weeds of this embezzlement and bad hire in the last couple of years, we would send an email every single day to our bank and let our banker know what was going on. So we'd be like, hey, we got this big job going on, so on and so forth. We have a bunch of money coming in by the end of the week. And they protected us. They didn't return any payments. They knew that we might have some gaps. They didn't yank our credit line. So that was key. And our employees now are scared, right? If you have a business and you have employees, they are kind of freaking out. And some businesses have been shut down. So you need to keep your employees informed of what's happening. There's also a lot of resources out there. Colorado has this program called WorkShare, where if you do have to lay someone off, so say they're working 40 hours a week now, you lay them off, you can only afford to pay them 20. So maybe your business got hit just in half. The state will pay half and you can pay half for 52 weeks. Also, the Fed is releasing you from your obligation on payroll taxes, which also gives you more money in your bank in order to be able to pay your employees. There's also SBA loans online for disaster recovery. I would encourage you, if you're going to apply for one of them, do it way off hours, like after 8 o'clock at night or before 5 o'clock in the morning, because the site is really frustrating if you are doing it in the middle of the day like 8 million other people. So
Right.
that is definitely my other thing.
So
Yes.
over-communicate, and I love that. And we're going to feature you in some other of this camp, like our conversations a week from now. You're going to be featured. So I think that's such a service to all of us to get out all the resources that are changing and are in Congress right now for even more things to do. So thank you for that. Okay, and you got to have a fourth because it's you, and you. I always say yes to you. The question is what. So
the fourth is this: you really need to think outside your box, the box on your brand and your product. Right. So that is how we ended up going into the plumbing service business, because we got screwed in new construction during the recession, like when everything just shut off. So that is why we really had to change our business model. When we restarted our business in 2012 down in Denver, we only do service now. We don't do new construction. We don't do a lot of commercial. We do some commercial. We like that. We probably do 25% commercial, but 75% of our business is residential because we feel it's recession proof. So if you are in a business that is not recession proof per se, or disaster proof, maybe you need to start thinking about how you can use your skill set and branch that out into other things. We've been in a gig economy now for a number of years anyway, so you might need to be doing some extra things, different things, to augment your salary, to bring it back, or to find things that are more of a need in the market as we continue to morph through this.
Well, and I'd like you to also talk about the really cool thing you did with Video Plumber, because that's such a good example of what you just gave as your extra bonus fourth. So I'm going to even add to the bonus fourth, talk about Video Plumber, because again, that's a great example, I think, of thinking outside the box and innovation.
Thank you. Yeah, so Video Plumber is something that I came up with about 4 years ago, and I put a trademark on it, which everyone is poaching these days, but that's a whole other podcast. So what we are able to do is we can video into somebody's house, and we designed it to give estimates. But right now, what we're using it for, like, for example, the other night we used it because there was a woman and her son quarantined in their house. She's had cancer. She has cancer now. She's still taking the chemo medication, and her young son has a heart condition. So though they're super high risk, they can't have anyone in their home. And so William video into them and spent an hour and a half on the phone walking them through to fix this leak. Now, that's not something that we would normally do, is we don't want to really coach you how to fix problems. We want to fix your problem. But under the circumstances, which are extraordinary, then that's what we need to do that. That's what we need to do to help these people. So we're going to do whatever we can to help and serve.
Well, I think that's a super, super good example. So so you said a bunch of great things. People are going to want to reach out to you. I'm going to ask you just in a minute about how they do that. But if you just could tell them one thing, right? So people are like, wow, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. The bonus was especially good. What would be the one thing you would tell businesses to do?
Is to breathe. You are in this with every other business owner in America right now. You are not alone. You're not. And your creditors or your landlord or the person who does your website or whatever, they don't want to lose you as a client. They don't. They're scared too. So if they're stalking you for your money and that's due yesterday and now they want it today, just take a deep breath. Communicate with them, say, I'm going to get it to you. I am not going to stiff you. You can even send everybody an email or a letter or whatever. If you feel that will make you feel safer, by all means do it. But people, they do not want to shut you down. Please remember that. They want to work with you and they want to get paid, even if it's not going to be on their timeline. So
well, that's a very good, reassuring thing. So if people want to find you, Susan, would you please give your contact information?
Sure. It's Susan@sunshinepha.com. Susan@sunshinepha.com. That's the easiest way to reach me on email.
Super good. And then if people are interested in coaching in your small business or medium-sized or large business advice, can they reach out to you at that same email?
Sure. I haven't coached one-on-one clients since 2014, but I really feel like I'm being called to sort of come out of retirement for a while. I would probably only do this for 6 months and maybe take a maximum of 8 or 10 clients, depending upon what they need, do a full day on site and give them a plan and that type of thing. So that's what I think I'm going to do now between now and the end of the year, because I think people really need my help. And it's so weird how I ended up getting this expertise. I got it the hard way, folks, really. I did. I got it the hard way. And I want to be able to help because I know what it feels like not to sleep and not to think you're going to make payroll on Thursday. I get that. And I want to be able to help people through this because I think that having gone through it myself and walked through with those other 150 businesses during the recession, that I can really be of service now more than ever.
Well, I just really commend you because you are always of service, whether it's in plumbing, whether it's your inspirational speaking, which when the economy and the world gets normal again, please consider Susan as also one of the keynotes for your next event or convention. She is hugely motivational. She has her book, The Puffer Fish Effect. So many good things about Susan Frew. So thank you so much, Susan, for being
Thanks,
on this podcast and video series. And thank you all for listening to Sisters Strong, our podcast and video series about possibility. We are part of the Global Sisterhood Podcast Network, which are women on purpose for good, sharing our voices, our ideas, our connections, and our expertise as we stand together for health and happiness. Please share our helpful messages for others who are looking for this kind of positive energy, great tips, and are ready to share this journey together. I'm your host, Betsy Wiersma.